Tonight, when you strike a match, something ancient stirs inside you. Not fear, something closer to reverence. A warmth you feel before the flame even touches the air. But walk that same flame toward almost any other creature on Earth and watch what happens. They run. Every time. Without thinking, without hesitation. That difference is not an accident. It is the story of how your species became what it is. Fire has existed on this planet for roughly 470 million years. Long before the first human walked upright, long before the first mammal drew breath, fire was already here. Sparked by lightning, fed by ancient forests, extinguished by rain, it was a force of the natural world like wind or flood. And for almost every creature that has ever lived, the correct response to fire has always been the same: escape. Your brain still carries that response. It is buried deep in the structures you share with every vertebrate on Earth. The amygdala, the part of your brain that processes fear and threat, fires in response to flame the same way it fires in response to a predator. Your pupils dilate, your heart rate spikes, your body prepares to move. This is not a flaw in your wiring. For hundreds of millions of years, it was the most important survival program your ancestors possessed. Biologist E.O. Wilson called this deep-coded aversion to fire part of what he named biophilia in reverse. A fear not of living things, but of the force that destroys them. Wilson argued that certain environmental fears are not learned. They are inherited, baked into the genome through millions of years of natural selection. Every animal alive today is descended from animals that ran from fire. The ones that did not run are no longer here to pass on their genes. But then something shifted. Something so unlikely, so statistically improbable, that researchers still argue about exactly when and how it happened. One lineage of hominins did not run. They stayed, and staying changed everything. The leading scientific consensus, developed and refined by primatologist Richard Wrangham at Harvard University, holds that the controlled use of fire by early humans began somewhere between 1 and 2 million years ago. Wrangham's cooking hypothesis argues that fire was not just a tool for warmth or light. It was a nutritional revolution. Cooked food releases more calories. It is easier to digest. It reduces the energy your gut needs to process a meal and redirects that energy upward toward the brain. In Wrangham's view, fire did not just change what humans ate. It changed the size and complexity of the organ that makes you human. The fossil record supports this. Homo erectus, the hominin that emerged roughly 1.8 million years ago, had a significantly smaller gut and a significantly larger brain than its predecessors. The jaw shrank, the face flattened, the skull expanded. These are not random mutations. They are the anatomical signature of a species that had found a way to pre-digest food before it entered the body. A species that had learned to cook. But here is the part that rarely gets said out loud. This transformation required something no other animal on Earth had ever managed to do. It required overriding millions of years of encoded terror. Think about what it would mean to approach fire for the first time with intent. Not accidentally stumbling near it, not being cornered, choosing to move toward it. Every signal your nervous system sends in that moment is telling you to stop, to turn back. The heat, the light, the smell of burning. These are ancient alarm systems, and they are screaming. But something in that early hominin brain pushed through. And on the other side of that fear was warmth, safety, cooked meat, and eventually everything that followed. Anthropologist Dennis Sandgathe at Simon Fraser University has spent years studying early fire use at Paleolithic archaeological sites in Europe. His work, and the work of his colleagues, has revealed something deeply interesting. The evidence for controlled fire is not continuous. It appears in bursts, scattered across sites and timelines, suggesting that early humans may have discovered, lost, rediscovered, and remastered fire multiple times across hundreds of thousands of years. The relationship between your ancestors and fire was not a single moment of invention. It was a long, uneven negotiation between an instinct screaming danger and a mind slowly, painstakingly learning to override it. Other animals have been observed near fire. Certain raptors in Australia are now well documented deliberately spreading fire by carrying burning sticks to flush prey from grasslands. Chimpanzees in the wild have been observed watching approaching bushfires with an unusual stillness, what researchers have called a fire dance, swaying rhythmically as the flames approach, neither fleeing immediately nor advancing. Jane Goodall documented this behavior decades ago, but it suggests a capacity for something more than raw panic, something that in another species, under different conditions, might have been the first step, but it never went further. Only your lineage crossed that threshold. Only one animal on Earth learned not just to tolerate fire, but to feed it, carry it, and build a civilization around it. The consequence of that crossing is written in every structure of the modern world. Fire gave your ancestors warmth in climates that would otherwise have been lethal. It extended the usable hours of the day beyond sunset, creating time for social bonding, storytelling, and the transfer of knowledge between generations. Psychologist Polly Wiessner at the University of Utah analyzed conversations recorded around campfires in the Kalahari and found something striking. Daytime conversations were dominated by practical topics: work, complaints, economic exchange. Nighttime conversations around fire were dominated by stories, narratives, information about people who were not present, the kind of social and imaginative content that builds culture. Wiessner called the campfire the original broadcast medium, the place where human identity was transmitted from one mind to another across the dark. Every library, every university, every religion that has used flame as a symbol of the sacred, every poem written by firelight, every agreement sealed by lantern, every idea that survived long enough to change the world, all of it traces back to that first moment when one animal decided not to run. And here is the thing. The fear did not go away. You still have it. Every human alive carries the old alarm system. When a fire goes out of control, your body knows exactly what to do, and it does not wait for your permission. The ancient program is still running beneath everything. What changed was not the fear. What changed was the capacity to act alongside it, to feel the warning and choose to stay anyway. That is what separates you from every other creature that has ever encountered a lit match. Not the absence of fear, the willingness to hold it in your hands. Tonight, when you strike that match, you are not doing something ordinary. You are completing a circuit that stretches back 2 million years. You are the animal that stayed.